All right, we're live. We got everybody's mics muted. I'm not trying to be like Dame Dash, but yeah, I'm in my robe. I haven't been feeling too good, but I actually forgot to take sea moss for 2 days. So, what a coincidence. So, instead of being dressed up for everybody, I'm going to wear Poppy. This is Poppy. I'm too smooth to be embarrassed by this, so let's move forward. Today's topic is actually a topic that I normally would wear a suit on. But like I said, me showing up today in a sweater, I said a sweater, a robe, is magical. And I'm saying this for when I watch this and add this to my content, I'll know where to place it. And I'll know what I've been through because I know how crazy it was to even get here. So today we are talking about the wars against nuclear families are full of human and child rights crimes. I'm going to say this again. The wars against the nuclear families are full of human rights and child rights crimes. All right? We're going to go into it. It's going to get a little cool in the beginning, then it's going to get boring, then it's going to get cool. But the boring is only educational. Some people hate learning new things, and that can be boring. All right, but here we go. What is the nuclear family? No, I'm not talking about a radioactive family. The nuclear family. It's an elementary family or a conjugal family in a family group consisting of parents and their children, typically living in one home residence. It is a contrast to the single parent family, the larger extended family, or a family with more than two. So as an exercise in history, I would like to research the connection between modern marketing, so all this modern marketing, and the promotional attacks on nuclear family. But who said the previous family structures was ever normal? And I'm not saying that. I'm not ever in my life saying, let's go back to, I never said the previous family structures was normal. I just said they're families. But what screws us up the most in life is the picture in our head of what or how it's supposed to be. The ultimate goal of this man-made war is to get the fathers out the house where the children were co-created, place them under the custodial supervision of an overworked and busy mother. Now, according to all the statistics that I've studied on the outcome of single-parent homes, it seems like this agenda has worked for a long time. And guess what? I bet there are exceptional thinkers out there right now that love to argue rare and exceptional cases. I know somebody listening right now that's like, well, I know 3 single mothers that it worked for. That's awesome, ma'am. Out of 7.2 billion people on this planet, your 3 examples are awesome. That's good. Now, moving forward, many people I know blame the breakdown of the American family homes on white supremacy or toxic feminism and government interference. But what was the energies and vibrations of the first black arguments? I'm going to say this again. What was the energies and vibrations of the first black arguments? What were they? Y'all see all them red cups in the background? It looks like I've been partying over here. Now, many people I know, okay, so I'm going to say this again. Many people I know blame the breakdown of American homes on white supremacy, toxic feminism, and government interference. But what was the first black arguments? I'm talking about Pangea. I'm talking about when because energy is older than Earth, right? Or is Earth older than energies? Energies is way older than Earth. So back when Pangea, everything was connected, what was the first black arguments and divisions? What was the Pangea first 48 stories? Back before any other people What held our people down? What if that answer is the reason why we can't work together today? So here's some white supremacy info. The heteronormative family did exist during early white supremacy because black women were also targets of racial violence. Once this evil energy started being nice to black women, many of them chose to be nice back with the evil privilege. No, not all, not all. I didn't say all. Oh, okay, because I just love interjecting not all. Here's some fake religious advice. That is not my opinion. You can look this dude up. His name is Jaron Lanier. Jaron Lanier. Jaronlanier. Jaron Lanier. He's very credible. He talked about tactics used to destroy black movements. He said they will create a fake black leader and have the leaders do crazy stuff or crazy things to make the real black movements look just like the fake paid leaders. And since sheeple don't love research, they will immediately believe a lying marketing campaign. But Jaron Lanier, not Jason Miller, Jaron Lanier said this is well documented, so you can look it up. Just look it up. Now, so what are the laws that are currently being violated? Well, number one, human rights law. Human rights are the rights inherited to all human beings, regardless of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, or any other status. Human rights include the right to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and educate, and many more. Everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination. And humanity needs more bridges and not walls. Right? Now, Malcolm X said human rights are something that you were born with. So I'm going to say this again. Malcolm X said human rights are something that you were born with. Human rights are your God-given rights. Who gave you these rights? Anybody that violates your human rights are your God-given rights. Human rights are the rights that are recognized by all nations of the earth. And anytime one violates your human rights, you can take them to world court. End quote. That's Malcolm X. And the second law that's currently being violated is children's rights laws, or child rights laws, right? So each child has the right to be raised in a nurturing, loving family. Watch this, with basic needs like food, primary health care, and formal education. You'll see the government and all that, right? In addition, I say government replacement. In addition, each child has the right to be protected from abuse, neglect, and maltreatment. Children should be protected from kidnapping and trafficking. Children's rights are a subset of human rights, with a particular attention to the rights of special protection and care afforded to minors. Now, not to be confused with your youth rights, the 1989 Convention on the Rights of Child, CRC, defines a child. Now again, who's a child? They define a child as any human being below the age of 18 years, unless under the law applicable to the child. Now, majority is attained earlier. So children's rights include their right to association with one parent, both parents, human identity, as well as basic needs for physical protection, food, universal state, paid education, healthcare, and criminal law appropriate for the age and development of the child. So literally, if both parents don't have the child, you are ruining their human identity. Nuh-uh. Equal protection of the child's civil rights and the freedom for discrimination on the basis of the child's race, gender, nationality, origin, religion, disability, color, ethnicity, or other characteristics. Now, interpretations of child rights range from allowing children the capacity for autonomous action to the enforcement of children being physically, mentally, and emotionally free from abuse. Though what constitutes abuse is a matter of debate. So other definitions include the right to care and nurturing. So there are no definitions of other terms used to describe young people, such as adolescents, teenagers, or youth, in international law. But the children's rights movement is considered distinct from the youth rights movement. The field of children's rights spans the field of law, politics, religion, and plain morality. Just plain morality. That's the field of children's rights. And again, in these day and age, the way we dealing with children, there's no morality to it. If everybody's talking about it. So since we are talking about family, let's look at three important ingredient definitions. Yeah, three. Relationship, marriage, and love. The definition of relationship is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or a state of being connected, the state of being connected by blood or marriage, and the way in which two or more people or groups regard and behave towards each other. Marriage. Definition. The legal or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship. Historically, in some jurisdictions, specifically a union between man and woman, or a combination of mixture of two or more elements. So marriage, that's the scientific time. You can marry things together, or a combination or mixture of two or more elements. What if humans copied the science definition of marriage? Love definition: an intense feeling of deep affection, a great interest, and a pleasure in something. So how white supremacy recruits its minions to destroy the nuclear family? This is how mothers are used. The overall plan is to place majority or all of the burden on her and let her work herself to death, or influence her to work herself into bad health. These are how fathers are used. They must get all the real men out their homes. Another plan is to emasculate them or to make them beta male simps. And I'm saying beta male simps because that's what everybody's saying now. Not that I'm just going to be cool. And a lot of these beta male simps, they love to fight and save innocent women. Oh, that's good. What are you talking about, Jason? That's good. They should fight and die for an innocent woman. Stop clapping. They will kill you over guilty women too. These beta male simp enforcer, whatever you want to do, you want to call these guys, they will kill you or fight you over your relationship or your marriage for guilty women and for innocent women. Most of these loser men love fighting and dying for guilty women though. They love it. They gotta have it. How grandparents are used. They plan to turn them into the old retirees from the slave plantations. Many of them evolve into the go along, get along gang members. How family members are used. There is a white supremacy chip in many black families that influence them to think and believe that the black men are the only ones capable of fault in a relationship or marriage to a woman. So that's how families is used. If anything happens in a relationship, they probably only gonna get the woman's side, and this is gonna make her, she's probably like, I was sitting Indian style and he was and I just wasn't doing it. I was feeding the homeless and he just came in, and that's how family members are used. Family members are used against a black man. Now, feminist male felons. Now, I know a lot of cats that got out of jail and prison. I stay away from felons that get out of jail and prison. If I study their past and they was weak with women, super soft, super weak, and a lot of your women that you date, I wouldn't even deal with, or you wouldn't even deal with. These are the prime candidates for SIP enforcers. Y'all remember that movie, Menace to Society? Hey, I heard you was, I heard you was having relationship problems with my cousin. Yeah, why are you here? Why are you here? Cause I don't like the way you treat my cousin, partner. These men, it's an honor. I'm telling you. Look it up. I promise you. I've talked to male feminist felons. Some of the weirdest dudes you ever meet in your life. It's an honor for these dudes to fight all the battles of women, guilty and innocent. They just want to fight all the battles. Girl, I will fight for you. I would die for you. Get away from them. Female step parents. Now, have you ever thought to yourself, why are my parents only attracted to people that hate me? Now, if this doesn't go for you, please have the wherewithal to be like, oh, I should just shut up and find answers in something that other people are going through. Instead of me being a weirdo and saying, I ain't going through that. Congratulations. So, have you ever thought to yourself, why are my parents only attracted to people that hate me? You lost your parent or you lost your mother when she left your father. Your mother is now mixing her DNA and energy with other men or her next husband. She will then conform to him if she's in love. I gotta really put that in there. If she's in love. If that man secretly hates her children, then she will not know why she is mirroring the new love of her life behaviors. You lost your mother when she left your father. You lost your father when he left your mother. Nah, fathers usually don't leave unless they're the beta male simps. That type of father would turn on their children with the new relationships. It takes a strong man to love somebody else's children when you are dating somebody that wants you not to. But beta male simps, they can't do this. All right? All right. Now, male step parents. New men are coming into homes from many different backgrounds and agendas. While we love to only, focus on the men who are being great step parents, we will definitely be covering the ones that are not in the future lectures. So male step parents, you can see the hate that a male step parent has for the children through the mother's behaviors, and she won't even know it. Older people, how white supremacy recruits older people. Now, that are close to the custodial parent. So again, let's focus on the custodial parent. Now, twice a child and once an adult. Y'all remember that quote? Please remember this quote. Twice a child and once an adult. This means that many older people are probably back in their childish minds. And receiving any type of real help from them probably won't happen. Now, I'm going to say, according to this quote that everybody agrees with, twice a child, once an adult. The problem is, many adults be like, no, I'm not a child again. I'm like, you're wearing a diaper. No, I'm not a child again. You get mad over the little smallest things and you cry all the time. No, I'm not a child again. So this means that many older people are back in their childish minds. And receiving any type of help from them probably won't happen. So now let's deal with the destruction machine. You want to know what the destruction machine is? Now, did you know that there is a horrific karma coming to all dirty American family court judges, lawyers, and any liars prohibiting good black fathers from being fathers? I also can't wait until this happens because I have zero respect for dirty family court judges and lawyers. And again, all these criminals work together on the psyche or emotionally weak parents. So again, these criminals work together on the psyche of emotionally weak parents. In America, they will tell you that no one is perfect, right? There are no perfect men or no perfect women. Well, let's break down this perfection. But mothers are always presumed to be the primary caretakers of the children they co-created. Yes, it took two people to create a child. Even though I got a social media inbox about 5 years ago, because I'll never forget it, this woman, I was challenging some of their views for their organization, and she said, did you know that women got themselves pregnant in ancient times? And I said, can you get away from my car? So moving on, in most cases, the mother is assumed to be the primary caretaker by all parties involved, especially for young children. It is assumed that mom takes care of children day-to-day needs, right? Even though this is not always the case, dads have to jump through hoops to prove otherwise. Now remember, black men have to prove to white supremacists and toxic feminists that they want to be a good father. And this system has hoops that a black man has to jump through. Now, all that time wasted could have been put into the child. Not in America. Like I said, especially when it's a person of color. Now, the near and far future will call these acts of lying custodial parents, judges, and lawyers human and children's rights crimes. I promise you. Everybody think they're getting away with stuff right now? I promise you. Since these pieces of nothing judges and lawyers, police officers, and lying custodial parents are working together, it will be nice to see them all in hell with each other, because if black lives really ever mattered, black fathers must matter too. Go to hell, everybody. Now, many of these cursed American, I'm really talking about y'all right now. Many of these cursed American judges, lawyers, and police officers consciously and unconsciously have a bias against black fathers. There is so much disinformation circulating around, or a serious lack of information in circulation, that black fathers don't or can't successfully be custodial parents of their children or child, thanks to the disinformation or the lack of information. So again, fathers have to jump through hoops to love and nurture their children. Because in America, they say as soon as the mom is fed up, the children hate the dad too. That's that weirdo stuff. Because all you have to do is push the rewind button and go back. The first day you fell in love with that man, and anybody tried to keep you away from that man, you would have been fighting him, right? But fast forward, you're sick of that man, and for some reason you think the children don't want to fight you, but they so young, they can't really be disrespectful like that. And if you think I'm lying, how do children grow up in crazy situations like this? So let's be hypothetical here. Let's say slavery built America. Look, I'm being sarcastic, but let's be hypothetical. Let's say slavery built America, and the hate for black fathers has always existed. Let's just say hypothetical. It has always existed. It's mind-boggling how many so-called black people are forgetting history or have forgotten history. These are super weirdo times. Now, black men should stop focusing on civil rights and focus on human rights and child rights laws when fighting for the sanity of their children. They should talk with each other, other fathers. They should talk with other fathers and sharpen each other. Come on, we used to do that more than barbershop talks. So attention, black man. If anybody asks you why are you so angry, and they ask you with an attitude like, why are you so angry? Please don't waste your time. Don't answer their question, because they won't comprehend it. The fact that they asked the question and with an attitude shows that they can't comprehend it. So if you're dumb enough to answer that question, nobody should feel sorry for you for arguing with them for hours, because they just don't understand. They showed you with the first question that they didn't understand. So I've heard people say that America is little China. So many Americans believe human rights and China don't mix. And I don't know if y'all ever researched China, but human rights and China don't mix. Even though America now has CPS, Child Protective Services, workers trying to get young girls to become strippers. Look it up. Many people believe that the decline of the family is directly related to the decline of morality. Karl Marx said the bourgeoisie, and that makes sense. I was like, dang, I never thought about it like that. He said the bourgeoisie has torn away the family, or torn away from the family and its sentimental veil, and has reduced the family relation to mere money relation. You don't believe me? How many fathers do you know that can't currently afford to see their children? Okay, Jason, say that again. Okay. Karl Marx said the bourgeoisie, no, poor people did it. No. The bourgeoisie has torn away from the family its sentimental veil and has reduced the family relation to mere money relation. And like I said, how many fathers do you know that can't currently afford to see their children? When money didn't exist, how did they keep families together? Just go in history and see. When money didn't exist, when this form of money didn't exist, how did they keep families together? Here's a religious question. Is Islam the only religion on the face of the earth that is strong enough to protect and keep the black family unit intact? Many American men of all races feel that like toxic feminism is destroying or has destroyed the West. And this is a lot of research I've been doing on this. A lot of guys be like, it's destroyed. And then some guys, it's like, it's being destroyed. So one telltale sign that a person is down with this wicked system is they use whataboutism. Well, what about the man? Well, what about what the man do? No, or this is what they say. And again, these are talking points. Just listen. When they are in conversations, I promise you, they'll use whataboutism. Well, what do they do? What do they do? What do they do? I'm telling you, this is a person that's down with this system. Number two, they will say, no, I will not answer that question, but I want you to answer all my questions during this conversation. They will literally be like, I don't know. I promise you. Or they'll say, I haven't researched that. Now, my favorite, this is my favorite. When I hear people do this, I'm like, they got you. You possessed. Let me chill out on you. This is my favorite. Where did you get those stats? But they want everybody to bow down to their stats. These demon-possessed people want to make it illegal to hurt their feelings. Man, we in weird all times. Now here, this is them. They want to talk. Stop talking about logic, statistics, or history. My feelings are more important. Let me talk about me and my feelings. Many so-called women choose bad men to date, marry, and have children with because they are attracted to the adventure and to bad boys. The only difference now is the system says they don't have to stay with these men. Influencing, not saying y'all doing this, influencing them to jump from man to man. Creating soul ties after soul ties after soul ties. What about men? Different bodies, different designs. Not saying men are free of karma or cause and effect, but it's just different. Now, another plan to destroy Western nuclear families is to influence the inability and unwillingness to just listen to factual evidence and to think it over without automatically getting into a defense or attack mode. People that are influenced by this devil energy are also connected to devilish outcomes. Many of these parents are a bunch of immature children disguised as grown-ups. Now, should younger women hold bitter, toxic older women in deep contempt of court? If they really, really feel that their mothers and their grandmothers and their great-great-grandmothers were all helpless, were all beaten, they all married the first guys that they saw, and they all were meek little women who got all crushed by men. Hopefully you don't believe that. So now, who are the women that can see that they have been propagandized or well marketed and advertised to? They have literally turned you all that drunk the Kool-Aid into professional victims with updated talking points that men are starting to study. And when all else fails, they're influencing you to always argue against the facts with your feelings. Not accusing anybody of doing it, I'm telling y'all the plan. So social media has taken human solipsism and injected steroids in it. The selfishness is at a psychotic level now. If you don't know the definition of solipsism, it is the view or theory. So you didn't hear facts nowhere in that. It's the view or theory that the self is all that can be known to exist. Solipsism. Now, this is how many people think we can fix society. And again, this is the information coming from America and London. I just narrowed it down to 3. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. This is how many people think we can fix, again, the nuclear family. Remove no fault divorce. Did I say no fault divorce? Number 1, remove no fault divorce. Number 2, remove alimony in divorce. And number 3, remove child support and government welfare. And here goes some jail bars. Now, did you know that the common denominator of prison inmates is that they all come from single parent homes? No, it's some that come from biological mommy and daddy. But did you know that majority of the prison inmates, the common denominator is that they all come from single parent homes in some way? Now, the percentages of their mothers that had imitated the divorce was close to 90%. I'm sorry, that initiated the divorce was close to 90%. So again, according to these statistics, the mothers initiated the divorce. Y'all got to understand. I fell back from this topic because I was talking about this a long time ago, but it was at a time where nobody was really seeing it, so I just fell back. So a lot of stuff that everybody's talking about now, I've been sitting on bars. So that's cool that everybody's talking about it, but I got proof when I was bringing this up. But it's cool now that everybody's talking about it, so I'm going to talk about it again. And the percentages of the mothers that initiated divorces was close to 90%. That's a plan, y'all. Do y'all understand that? That's a plan that children are born into, automatically equating to older people doing it, to younger people. Uh-oh, my haters want to talk. Well, homes ran by a dominant mother and a docile stepfather are bad too. And they are. We're going to talk about these homes in future lectures. So the single parent homes, and then it's like, no, it's a mommy and daddy. Yeah, but a lot of those mommy and daddies came from a dominant mother and a docile father, or a docile stepfather. So the correct response to you can't blame the or all women is we're not blaming women. We are saying that a child or children needs both mother and father present for healthy development. Well, I'm trying to make my ex mad. For healthy development. The devil or evil, or the evil side of this system, encourages many mothers to make the most insane emotional decisions with the lives of their children during the most heated emotional times of their lives. Now, here are some more Western toxic talking points. Now, again, when I hear people communicate like this, they're under the spell. So I don't care what you think. If you are like, no, they're not, whatever. But if you hear this, they're under the spell. Now, one thing that I see when you talk about stats, they'll say your stats say this and your facts say this, but I don't feel they matter. They'll talk about their feelings. When you're talking about science and facts, they'll just listen. They'll talk about their feelings. Why would you keep arguing? That person is under a spell. Now, again, when they say your stats and your facts, say that and say this, but I don't feel they matter. And I ask them, well, should a blind person only care about feeling their way through life? I'm merely asking for a friend. So when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. The hammer is white supremacy and toxic feminism, and every problem is solved by blaming it on everyone else. Now, these fathers sent me this, and I was like, I'm going to say it. They didn't think I was going to say it. I was like, I'm going to say it. He said his son was like, Dad, how did God make a woman from man? He said, well, son, when God removed all responsibility, accountability, and reason from man, voila, you have woman. And then I said, if your son asked me who the devil was, I would say, that's easy, young man. The devil is an energy that also created the child support system and alimony. And this devil energy works well in all family court judges, lawyers, and anyone working in that devilish system. Now watch this. If you think I'm lying, check the physical and mental health of anyone that works or used to work in that toxic field. If you think I'm lying, everyone in that field is cursed. Seriously. When you work in that field, you're taking on a curse in your life. You're destroying families. No, we working with good families. Congratulations. I would rather let go a lot of guilty men for one innocent man. So all this good work that you're doing, the curse is not coming from that. The curse is coming from the bad, the lies, the homes you destroyed, and you didn't do a good job. So I debate anyone on this topic. The devil's best work and the devil's best workers are in that field. I'm telling you. Now, haven't you noticed that when you hear a white supremacist talk or a toxic feminist talk, the positive side of things are never an option? Haven't you noticed that? It's just, the positive side is just never an option. It's always something bad. I am strongly thinking about creating a new sport in America that many Americans will win the gold medal in every year. It's called the Avoiding Accountability Olympics. Like I said, America will win the gold medal every year. So a war on fathers is a war against the family. A war on women and mothers is a war against family. 85% of homeless families are headed by women, specifically by single women with children. And domestic violence is a principal cause of homelessness among single mother families. Now, whether that domestic violence is fake or real, this number does not even include those staying with family members or friends. I have told many younger women to never, ever, ever lie about domestic violence in your old relationships or marriage. Watch this. Because you will attract that in your new relationship and marriage if you were lying. I promise y'all getting set up. I'm telling y'all getting set up. Girl, just say he abusing you and da-da-da-da. And you're going to attract that in your next one. You're going to attract that reality. That's why you're being set up to say that. So in the United States, 34% of children live in single parent households. Now this comes from the data center kids count. But according to the Census Bureau, over 83% of single parent households are headed by a single mother. This means that single mothers and their children are more likely to experience homelessness than any other types of families. We need more single parent homes. This means that single mothers and their children are more likely to experience homelessness than any other types of families. Man, we need to help all these single mothers. This means that single mothers and their children are more likely to experience homelessness than any other types of families. Have you ever read America's Long War on Children and Families by Paul M. Renfro? It describes a Briggs study that encourages us to imagine the family, the child, and social reproduction as key battlegrounds in a long conflict against people of color. It also reads that according to the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, officials separated. Look how good we are at separating. Officials separated 2,342 children from 2,206 adults between May 5th and June 9th of 2018 and placed these minors into the Office of the Refugee Resettlement Shelters and other facilities prepared throughout the country. You know, like the one in McAllen, Texas. So people that support this wicked system behave like this in their personal lives. Even though there are a trillion other telltale signs of showing behaviors of this demonic download. So hopefully that helped. So in closing, Dr. John Henry Clark, on his lecture on Black Women in Power, he said in his lecture, behind the history curtain, behind the slavery curtain, we forget that history is being interpreted through the lenses of people who were from the beginning afraid of women in power, or women in power. While the African was not only relaxed with her in power, we permitted her to go as far as her mind could take her without feeling the slightest insecurity. I will close it here. Thank you for joining me for another Sunday Bars. I look forward to building with you next time. Peace and love. And we're going to take some questions too. Peace and love.